All right, let's get right into it. Here at DigiPalms, we have this core belief. Negotiation, it's a skill anyone can master. And we're going to show you how to flip the script, turn what feels like a confrontation into this really powerful collaborative process. So let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? That little hesitation when you're about to ask for what you really want? Yeah, you're not alone. And it almost always comes from this big misunderstanding of what negotiation is all about. It's not about being the loudest person in the room or winning no matter what. So what is it about then? Well, the key, the real secret sauce, is a framework that's going to completely shift how you see things. We're going to help you move away from this win-the-fight mentality and start looking for ways to create real value, to find that mutual gain in every single conversation.
And this is so important. Your success starts way before you even walk into the room. The first step, the most critical one, it's all internal. Before you even think about tactics or clever lines, you've got to build the right psychological foundation. And let me tell you, that is way more powerful than any trick you could ever memorize.
Just look at the difference here. There's the arrogant negotiator who tries to steamroll the conversation, and then there's the confident negotiator who's calm, measured. Why? Because they've done their homework. And that's what our approach is all about, building genuine confidence. This isn't about being arrogant or trying to dominate. It's about having this quiet, solid strength that comes from knowing yourself and, crucially, being totally prepared.
And this quote from Sarah, a contract negotiator, it just nails it. I realized that understanding their constraints was more valuable than pushing my agenda. Wow. That right there is empathy as a strategic superpower. When you actually take a minute to understand what the other side is up against, their needs, their challenges, that's when you can unlock these amazing, creative solutions that work for everybody. You end up building a real partnership, not just closing a deal.
All right, so you've got the mindset down. Now let's build the engine. Let's talk about turning that mindset into real, actionable results with a systematic approach to preparation.
We love tools like this one, an objective prioritization matrix. And look, this is way more than just a to-do list. Think of it as your strategic map for the negotiation. It makes you get really clear on your priorities. What's a must-have, what's a nice-to-have, and what are your absolute walk-away triggers. Having this locked in beforehand keeps you anchored, keeps you focused when things get intense.
And speaking of walk-away triggers, this brings us to your greatest source of power. Seriously, your BATNA. It stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. Basically, what's your plan B if you walk away? Knowing this, really knowing it, gives you the confidence to hold your ground and set firm boundaries. And then you have the zone of possible agreement, that sweet spot where your needs and their needs can overlap. Figuring that out is just absolutely crucial.
Okay, mindset, check. Preparation, done. Now for the main event. It all comes down to how you talk, how you listen, how you adapt in the moment. This is where all that potential you've built up either turns into a huge success or fizzles out.
Just look at the difference on this table. Instead of a confrontational question like, why won't you accept this, which immediately puts people on the defensive, you can reframe it. What aspects of our proposal are raising some concerns for you? See that? It's a simple tweak, but it completely changes the game. It turns a potential fight into a problem-solving session, and it invites them to work with you, not against you.
You know, a lot of people think trust is just this magical thing that either happens or it doesn't. But that's not true. You can actually build it systematically. We call this the trust escalation ladder. You move up the rungs step by step, from just surface-level chat to maybe sharing a bit of selective vulnerability, all the way up to identifying problems together. This is how you build the foundation for a really deep, valuable, and long-lasting partnership.
All right, let's talk about the thing everyone tries to avoid: conflict. Most of us see it and we run the other way, right? But what if I told you conflict is actually a gift? We're going to reframe it. Stop seeing it as a roadblock you have to fear and start seeing it as a powerful engine for innovation and creating incredible value.
The idea here is something called productive tension. The goal isn't to get rid of tension. No way. The goal is to harness it, to use its energy. Because when you can channel that disagreement in a constructive way, that's when the magic happens. You come up with these breakthrough ideas that neither one of you could have ever found on your own.
So what do you do when things get heated? Because they will. Here's a simple but super effective protocol to remember. PAUSE. Pause. Just take a breath. Acknowledge what they're saying. Try to understand where they're coming from. Suggest a way forward. And then engage them in building that solution with you. It's an amazing way to de-escalate the emotions and get the conversation right back on track.
In all of this, it leads us to the ultimate goal. This is really the core of our whole philosophy here at DigiPalms. It's about moving past that old school zero-sum game of I win, you lose. It's about learning how to make the entire pie bigger for everyone at the table.
I mean, just look at the two mindsets here. On one side, you've got this tiny, fixed pie, and everyone's fighting for the biggest slice. That's the old way. But on the other side, we're focused on working together to bake a much, much bigger pie. So we want you to make this fundamental shift. Stop thinking about how much you can claim and start obsessing over how much value you can create together.
So you're probably asking, okay, great, but how do I actually do that? Well, here are 3 really powerful strategies to start finding that hidden value. Number 1, look for trades where something is low cost for you to give, but super high value for them to receive. Number 2, leverage your differences in risk tolerance. And number 3, find ways to combine what you're good at with what they're good at to create something brand new.
And a fantastic tool for making this happen is what's called a contingent agreement. So instead of wasting time arguing about a future that nobody can predict, you build flexibility right into the deal. Things like performance-based pricing or success-sharing plans. You create agreements that automatically adapt based on what actually happens. It's a brilliant way to align everyone's interests and take a lot of that scary uncertainty off the table.
In this quote, this is it. This is the philosophy we want you to take with you into every single conversation you have from now on. True mastery isn't about having the cleverest tactics. It's about the wisdom to find value where others don't, to build trust that's unshakable, and to leave every relationship stronger than when you start it.
So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Just one question. What's one conversation you have coming up this week where you can focus on creating value instead of just trying to win? It doesn't have to be a big, high-stakes deal. It could be anything. Just think of one place you can apply this framework. Start today, because that's how you begin the transformation into a more confident, a more collaborative, and yeah, a way more successful negotiator.